All right, let's dive right into today's explainer. We're unpacking a really fascinating presentation by Dr. Rajendra Prasad Singh that maps out the historical and legal journey of the Mahabodhi Mahavihara. Honestly, it's like a giant puzzle where millennia of ancient history, shifting faith, and modern laws all crash into one single geographical coordinate. Okay, let's dive into this roadmap. We are covering over 2,000 years of history today to understand our sources' arguments. We'll hit the four pillars of Buddhism, Emperor Ashoka and the Diamond Throne, the site's decline and new control, the Bodh Gaya Temple Act, and wrap up with the archaeological evidence. So let's get straight to it. Section 1, the four pillars of Buddhism. To really grasp the modern legal battles over this space, Dr. Singh grounds his argument in the physical and spiritual geography of the Buddhist faith. Think of the Buddha's journey as four absolutely crucial steps. You've got Lumbini in Nepal for his birth, then Bodh Gaya for enlightenment, Sarnath for the first teaching, and Kushinagara for Mahaparinirvana. According to our source, because Bodh Gaya is the exact, specific spot of enlightenment, it holds this unparalleled international significance. It naturally attracts the absolute highest volume of spiritual seekers in the entire Buddhist world. Moving from that spiritual foundation to hard, physical history, we hit Section 2, Emperor Ashoka and the Diamond Throne. This is where the historical record really starts to take shape in the dirt and stone. Let's move to the timeline and see how this builds. Starting at the Buddha's era, we jump forward exactly 300 years to 260 BCE. That's when Emperor Ashoka, right after the devastating Kalinga War, made his first documented pilgrimage to Bodh Gaya. And just a bit later, around 100 BCE, we start seeing physical carvings of the site popping up on other monuments. And the ultimate proof of this early patronage, according to Dr. Singh, the Diamond Throne, or the Hire Kasinhasan. This was built by Emperor Ashoka directly behind the main temple near the Bodhi tree, making it the oldest physical artifact at the site today. What's incredible is that the 100 BCE Barhut Stupa, which, by the way, you can go see in the Kolkata Museum right now, actually features intricate carvings of this exact throne. It totally anchors the site's Buddhist ties to the ancient era. But as we know, history doesn't just stand still. It ebbs and flows. That brings us to Section 3, Decline and New Control, setting up a massive historical turning point in the medieval era. The source highlights a really stark contrast here. Up to the 12th century, you have undisputed Buddhist control, meticulously documented by Chinese travelers like Fa Hien and Xuanzang. But then the regional Pala dynasty falls. The temple loses its backing and literally gets buried in mud and debris. During this massive period of abandonment, a Hindu ascetic named Gamandi Giri arrives, builds a monastery outside the ruins, and a new tradition of worship begins. It's a completely organic transition that establishes Hindu Mahant control over the site. And that new status quo remained largely unchallenged for centuries. Well, right up until 1891. That year, a Sri Lankan monk named Anagarika Dharmapala launched a dedicated movement to reclaim the Mahavihara as an exclusively Buddhist heritage site. Now, his dream wasn't realized in his lifetime, but our source views this specific 1891 movement as the spark that ignited the modern legal battles over the site's management. Which brings us right into the modern legal era with Section 4, the Bodh Gaya Temple Act and the BTMC. Post-independence India tried to step in and solve this historical dispute through formal legislation. Now, what's really interesting about this setup is the math. The 1949 Act created a 9-member management committee. It mandated a split, 4 Hindu members and 4 Buddhist members. But the tie-breaking chairman had to be the district magistrate of Gaya, and the law originally stated that the chairman must be Hindu. Dr. Singh points out that this framework structurally placed Buddhists in a permanent 4-to-5 minority on the board of a site they consider their core heritage. Of course, legal frameworks do evolve. A 2013 amendment updated the rules so the district magistrate remains chairman regardless of their religion. Today, the committee meets 4 or 5 times a year and reports directly to the Home Ministry of the Bihar government. But even with these updates, Dr. Singh raises a really tough underlying question. Why are Buddhists still having to structurally fight for primary control of their own heritage? To reinforce that question, he leans heavily on physical proof. Section 5, Archaeological Evidence and Excavations. Let's look at the British-era rediscovery of the site to back up those ancient claims. And this brilliantly illustrates a grueling 70-year continuous effort by historians to literally unearth the truth. It's like a multi-generational detective story. In 1811, Francis Buchanan does the initial survey and spots remnants of Ashoka's palace. In the 1860s, Alexander Cunningham does detailed reporting. And finally, in the 1880s, J.D. Begler conducts massive excavations, pulling up an incredible amount of buried inscriptions. The sheer volume of what they found is staggering. We are talking patronage inscriptions from the Maurya, Shunga, Gupta, and Vardhana dynasties. Even 11th and 12th century Burmese kings were sending aid. According to the excavated evidence cited by Dr. Singh, this massive footprint of domestic and international kings pouring support into the site absolutely cements its status as a historic Buddhist monument. So, what does this all mean for us today? It brings us right to the core, provocative question at the heart of Dr. Singh's presentation. Given the vast historical footprint left by ancient dynasties and modern archaeology, how should this evidence inform the legacy and management of the Mahabodhi Mahavihara today? It is a deeply complex intersection of ancient history, shifting traditions, and modern administrative law. We've mapped out the sources' arguments here, but I definitely encourage you to ponder this and keep exploring this incredible legacy for yourself. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.